I've realized how smart our bodies are. About a year ago, when I was going through learning about my nervous system, I guess every person who is in any way wounded and blessed with intelligence has gone through a phase that, they had to realize what your nervous system is and how to move through difficulties with your body. So I realized how smart this machine is that we live in. It regulates itself, it works for you. It's your connection to God, it's your body, it's your temple. So in that way, I also realized how many different patterns and mechanisms I cannot control, or at least I think I can't, but I can be aware of them and let them happen so I can stop creating resistance for these mechanisms to regulate themselves. What I mean is, bad habits and addictions are responses to your unmet needs and wants. Whatever you do that is not helping you grow, because look, everything that you do is some kind of a choice. Either a choice that is supporting your growth, or it's a choice that's pulling you further away from your goal or dream, or the life that you want to live, or the values that you want to represent. So when the choice you make is not aligned with your values, it's taking away from, this fulfillment of this goal or vision. It is meeting a need that was unmet at some point. And what I also realized, because I'm in this summer discombobulation recently, and I don't feel, I don't want to go into detail. I can't really fully explain it. My heart is heavy. And so I'm trying to allow it, trying to move through it, trying to release. And I've been analyzing my wants and needs. Why do you put these things on your vision board? What formed your character in a way that you want to experience this? I've discussed this before. I feel like anything that human beings do, we do it for emotions and feelings because that's what drives us forward. That's what creates motivation. And we create our purpose, deepen this intentionality, and we connect these things to God further. But everything is based on emotions. Any kind of drive and action needs to be motivated by an emotion. So I've been analyzing, what is it in me that wants this? Why is this a need? Why is sharing and community and love and connection and, depth and heart-to-heart conversations and communication, why is it a need in my heart? What created me to be a person who needs this, who tries to create their reality in a way that will match it? Why do I want this? So I've been asking myself these questions, and I realized that there are some things from my childhood that are still affecting me. And it hit me, and it wasn't a pleasant feeling because, of course, I know that I'm, not healed or not perfect, but as a quite conscious person, or as a person who feels like they have some kind of a level of awareness, or, I've been working through stuff. I try to do my best to be the best person that I can. Realizing that there are some things that I can't seem to escape, or they still affect me in a way that I don't want them to affect me. Realizing that they're still here inside me, that I'm still the same person, it was not a pleasant experience. It was kind of like, I gotta come back to this and fix this before I can move forward. So it helped me realize the wants and needs, and it covered the answer for what are my coping skills for the things that are meeting this need. Because, obviously, if the need is there, the want is not covered. So I don't have this thing that I want. And sometimes it creates a mechanism of, yearning. And yearning isn't, let me think about this. What is actually yearning? It's like super deep desire. Creating skills or patterns that I could call bad habits. It could be indulging in degenerate activities. It could be, contaminating your body, your system, your mind, your soul. It could be no values, no moral structure, following nothing, or following something evil intentionally, or just scrolling on your phone too much. It's also a bad habit. But instead of being mad at yourself for bad habits, I realized that it's better to view them like something that is meeting a need that was never fulfilled. And it stems from a story that formed your character to be a person who wants this thing in your reality. So if the want isn't covered, there is a need, there is a yearning. And also, it could be desperate, need of this thing, very very not the right energy for creativity to flow. You're sitting in this need and you are getting anxious, you're getting fearful. Where there is a need, there is lack of trust, there is lack of allowing, there is lack of flow. Because wanting a positive experience is a negative experience. You are reaffirming to yourself that you are not in the presence of this thing that you want. Refocus. What I'm trying to say, it's almost like you have to revisit the past, not in like a let's dig up our traumas way, but like look at what formed your character in a way that created this want, that became a need, that became a bad habit that is covering this need that is unmet. You have to look back at who you are and realize that you are still this person. You are still this little child. And this child has an unmet need. How can you meet this need in a healthy way? How can you produce the same emotions that would comfort this person to move forward with grace instead of numbing the pain and the loneliness and the isolation with things that are destructive, with junk food, with porn, with very low quality connections, with whatever it is. For different people, it's different things. For me, I've been spending too much time on my phone. And this is like the worst kind of addiction because it seems so normal. Like we're all kind of in it every day. And it's the easiest way that you can produce any kind of good emotion, any kind of, dopamine, any kind of fake happiness. You can also create very easy excuses of why you're using it so much. I could say that, I create content, so I have to use it so much. No, I don't. The amount of hours that I spend on my phone a day is absolutely crazy. And it's meeting a certain need of community. It's meeting a certain need of connection. And I do definitely have like work there. I spend time productively there. It's meeting a need of having an identity. This identity thing is insane, actually, especially if you create content. Huge block of a psychological work that you need to do before you're able to like actually deliberately express here. To not connect your identity to whatever you create, but let it just be an extension of your essence or whatever you're feeling, so you can let it flow and not like completely connect your whole value as a person to whatever you put out on the internet. So yeah, but I definitely don't have like any ego problems with this. I'm definitely not someone who's trying to teach you something. The whole identity of like me having comfort of, okay, I'm this type of person. I'm like reassured because I have this certain aesthetic. I have this certain like block of history of what I did. It gives you grounding, but it's so extremely fake. Okay, even without this identity block, just having instant comfort in form of constantly scrolling through reels. I don't have TikTok anymore. If I want to post something on TikTok, I install TikTok and I just have TikTok for like a quick second, and then because TikTok is like too obvious for me. I'm just like, no, we're not playing that game. So I don't have TikTok, but I have Instagram, and it's the same as TikTok. It's just more. It's slowly killing me. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, it's embarrassing to talk about it, but I know that everyone goes through it. But also, it doesn't discredit the problem because everyone goes through it. Everyone smoked as well in 2000. I don't know. I was too young then. Everyone was smoking normal cigarettes and it was like a normal thing, and everyone knew that they were addicted, but everyone was still smoking. Like, you talk about these things and people are like empathizing, people are like, yeah, but also it doesn't scream, the information I'm addicted to Instagram or I'm addicted to social media doesn't scream it's not normal, but it is so not normal. Now in this stage of like trying to figure out what is the actual need. No, I know what is the need. I'm trying to figure out what I can do to fulfill that need in a healthy way. And it comes back to the past. It comes back to me not rethinking, restructuring my life, because I've noticed that I'm repeating things every single year. Every year is the same. Every summer the same. Oh wait, can you hear my voice right now? Like, I'm getting emotional. Actually, like, sometimes when I rewatch my videos, I'm like, girl, you should not have said that. It was not supposed to. Like, these people don't know you. I'm just trying to be as transparent as I can because, we're all literally the same human beings going through the same things. Because sometimes I rewatch my videos. I'm like, why does anyone have to know this? So we're not doing that. I'm not telling you any childhood stories anymore. I have to keep like a safe, private spot of my life. I'll try. but still I need to share and get it out of my system because that's a part of my personality. For 3 years straight, I've been repeating the same thing to my therapist. So I've told you in one of the previous videos that I've been to therapy. Went for the first time right after the weed experience, if you remember that story with realization. So I went there like 6 months after the first trip, and it was super fresh. It didn't help me, but still the whole like issue under like this anxiety and fear and the whole wow, what just happened was me being extremely isolated. Not just isolated, like literally alienated. Completely, like I fell from a different planet here, and I don't, because literally that's what happened. Like I'm an immigrant, hello. But also not blaming everything on moving out. Just in general, the way my personality developed was to only approve of connections that are like fully right for me. So whenever I feel like the slightest disconnection, or like someone is not being genuine with me, or like I'm being lied to, or someone can betray me, for some reason I let go so fast. I don't cling to people at all. So I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but it's just something that I've noticed, bruh. It's literally I don't have friends for that reason. But at least being selective, when it stopped being like you don't have other choice, you just don't have friends. After I turned 14, because I went to like a proper high school, and I was like, yeah, so now I have people to talk to. I have a community. I can go to parties. I can go to like events. I can do this and this and that. I started being selective consciously, and it became a choice, and I started realizing that being selective is even harder than just not having choice, because you kind of start blaming yourself. Like, yeah, I did this, and now what? Like, it's like in these memes, I protected my peace a little bit too much. From the outside perspective, it is a good thing, because it's kind of like looking at virginity. Like anyone who's a virgin, like, yeah, that's admirable. That's wow, I respect this person. That's actually a great value that they're holding on to. And yeah, that's really fun when you're not in it, when you're looking at it and you're like, but when you made that choice, it's not fun. When you made that choice and you are the person who is sticking to it, not telling anyone the story of, you know what, I'm so selective. I don't have friends with people who don't align with my values. Like, wow, that's a really good thing. But when you're in it, you realize the whole chain of actions and reactions, and how much different your life is. It's not just, ooh, I don't have friends, or ooh, I'm isolated. It's like, because you redirect all of your energy that could have been spent on fun things. And I'm not saying good or bad, because anyone's body, anyone's connections and social life is, whatever you choose it to be. And I wish I could have like, this is literally my biggest dream. Oh, and I'm also very protective of this, because I feel like something is wrong with me for even like having this experience. Like I still feel kind of weird for it anyway. And you kind of blame yourself for creating this existence, but also it doesn't just shift your way of thinking of like, wow, now I'm so improved and better. I can't engage in this and that even if I really want to, because this choice actually isn't a choice, because there is no other choice for me. Like, there's no other option. There can't be other way for me to live, because this is the way my character formed, or I formed this character this way, Like, there's no other option for me to live my life another way. But there is this unfulfilled need. And I can't fulfill this need in any other way but just to, indulge in very easy dopamine. And I also remember that I shared that I was addicted to food. I had a binge eating disorder. In that video, in that Q&A, why I've never had a boyfriend, it was in that video. So there was that. There was a period of my life when I was around 14, 15, when I was very bulky. I was eating my sadness away. I was, trying to fill myself up with love. I literally have Snapchat memories videos. I use Snapchat. I've always used Snapchat just for having like a gallery of things that are not beautiful. A part of how I learned English. I was just talking to myself in English on Snapchat and saving it to the, whatever it is, like I was just saving it there. Videos of me crying and eating there and looking very, very, very bulky. Like I was big. And then after 15, I realized that, girl, we got too much potential to be spending our energy this way. So I understood the sadness. I was like, yeah, so I'm filling myself up with food because it gives me comfort, like physically my heart is hurting, physically I feel empty, so I was trying to fill myself up with food in a way. So yeah, that was a very difficult challenge to go through. Still, that modeling definitely helped me. It was like a very big motivation for me to get my shit together. My social media addiction was my dopamine of choice. I was considering just having a flip phone for a long time, just buying myself a cute pink Nokia and just walking around with it being so swaggy. But then I decided that talking on the internet and just being a legend is going to be my career. So sacrifices and challenges strongly affecting the way I feel, and I need to figure out a way to fulfill needs in a healthy way. So a need for socializing, a need for genuine connections that's always been there, because again, I told you, like, we gotta revisit the past. It was like the perfect age of like 10 years old when you have a grip on reality, you kind of understand what's happening, but you don't. You just have a sense of connectedness. You begin to have connections, you know, and realizations and attachments. So I feel like that was the perfect age for me to earn this wound, to like carry it with me, and I feel like I'm still carrying it, which I wasn't expecting, but you know, it's something that I'm going to work through during therapy. There's still a need for safety and home. I feel like me wanting a family, I have like a whole vision board thing going on of how I want my family to be. Parenting thing, the kids, the husband, all the values that I build around that, all the emotions that I want to feel. I have that all on paper, and it's very clear in my mind. And you know, for some reason, there's so much anxiety around it because I feel like I can't fuck this up. Like, I have to actually focus and figure out how can I organize my mind in a way that I can paint a picture that feels right, that is in God's timing and in God's hands, you know? Because it stems from a genuine, pure intention, but I'm trying to make sure that my mind is all set and I'm equipped to execute, you know what I mean? That I'm equipped to do it properly in a healthy way. So this video, like the whole point of this was to revisit past and do things in a healthy way, to meet a need in a way that is not destructive, and not do things that I've done before, to not get all the things that I've gotten before. Do you know what I mean? Because that's how we repeat things. If you do something that you've done, you'll get the same result. So I'm trying to do all these things differently. So all these needs that have always been incomplete and unfulfilled can be met. It's not like I'm doing this for the first time. This is exactly why I can make these connections in my thoughts, because I've had my wins and I've worked for them. Either it's the YouTube channel, either it's me homeschooling myself and finishing school earlier than everyone because I decided that I will be more mindful with my energy and save my time. Either it was me opening my business and being like successful in it for quite a long time. It was 2 years of me just, you know, having my own money in my very early teens. It was amazing. It's something that people usually don't do. It helped me to travel, or even this channel, or me going to Paris Fashion Week without an agency and all this modeling. Like, I've had my wins. I've had my sacrifices. I've had, you know, moments of revisiting the past, struggling, realizing what I did wrong, redoing it in a right way, and getting a reward. And all of these wins were these kind of patterns. And now I'm realizing what is my next goal, what is my next like checkpoint of what I want to experience. And I literally feel like I'm a scientist who is like mixing all of these thoughts and ideas and wants and needs and traumas and remedies. And I'm just trying to figure this out. And I really don't know. I'm just trying my best. And I feel like the first step to changing is realizing that something needs to change. At least I have like something that I can track. There is like past, the present, and the future. And Ye talked about this. They're always trying to make us think about the past. In school, there is a history class, but there's no future class. And we are programmed to think that history repeats itself, and it's supposed to repeat itself.
I think people focus too much on the past and focus too much on regret. I've heard of history class. I've never heard of a class that breaks down how you balance a checkbook or how you control your finances, which my father never taught me that. And I've never heard of a future class. So they keep us so focused on history that we start to believe that it actually repeats itself. And we become overly traditional and we can't advance as a race of beings. We get too caught up in the past and what everyone's saying and what everyone's tweeting. And sometimes you just have to be fearless enough to break the simulation.
Let's not repeat. Let's do something different.